What is up, everyone? Welcome to Aftershow channel. I'm your host, OJ Feliciano. With me, as always, is Luis Serrano. Today, we're talking about doing Aftershow, the show where we talk about theories and sort of like Easter eggs and all the things that we find in popular TV shows. Right now, we're covering Loki. If you haven't seen any of the previous episodes, go back and see them. There's going to be a link in the there's going to be a link here in the card showing up soon. So click that to see all the after-show episodes for Loki. With that said, this does contain spoilers, so you have been warned. Louis, tell me, what happened? What happened in this episode? Talking about Loki, episode 5. Forgot the name again. Shoot.
Journey into Mystery.
Journey into Mystery. There you go. I watched them really early on. That's why I always forget the themes. And I spent time looking for like what we found so that we can talk about it, that I forget the title. Episode 5, Journey into Madness.
Madness. I think it was Madness. I said Mystery. I don't know.
No, you're right. It's Mystery. Now I don't remember. Now look, we're both insecure. Look that up real quick. Get that quick. Journey into Mystery. Yeah. You're correct. So shit. Let me just fucking. There we go.
Okay.
Aftershow. Loki. Episode 5. Journey into Mystery. Louis, tell me what's up. What happened? Give me a quick summary. Give me the good old Louis summary.
Just Loki, more Loki, an Easter egg or 2, maybe 5.
An Easter egg or 2, then more Loki.
Then Loki as an alligator, and at the very end, a really cool ending, a really cool, somewhat fight with Goliath, and then Lord knows what's about to happen next. But it was just a lot of Loki.
A lot of Loki.
High-key Loki.
A whole lot of Loki, guys. You're in for a ride, dude. There's a lot of Lokis. Most of them were like, unrecognizable, except obviously we have our classic Loki we've seen, classic old Loki. We have Kid Loki, the two
Boastful Loki,
Alligator Loki,
President Loki,
Vote Loki, which is also known as President Loki. And there was a bearded Loki as well that was shown in the TVA, like hologram and whatnot. We get to see him in the audience. But this episode, we get to understand what the void is. What happens when you get pruned? Apparently, every time anything gets pruned, it gets tossed into the void. Where's the void? Well, thankfully, Sylvie is smart enough to question Ravonna, which, for the record, she turns out to be also trying to find out what happened. Like, what's up with the TVA? And I think it's because I have a feeling it has to do with something with Kang. I always said it. Ravonna and Kang have had a relationship in the comics. Maybe that's what happens here. She's trying to find out why he left, what he was doing. I don't know. It could be a sort of father-daughter type of thing. They could maybe twist it that way. I don't know. Marvel, you're very weird. But anyways, thanks to Sylvie, we know that the void is situated at the very, like, I guess, sort of end/beginning of time. It's like as time is being tied together in the what do you call it? The timeline. Yeah. In the timeline, as it's being like tied together, right there in that space as it's moving, that's where the void exists, or nothing that could possibly happen affect or create a branch reality. So if they're there, we have all of these Lokis, we have all of these type of anomalies. But how do you deal with that? Well, here comes Goliath, which is our first Easter egg, by the way. Goliath. That was pretty exciting. When I heard the name and I saw the cloud, I was like, look at that. They did it. Some bitches did it. Do you want to tell us who Goliath is?
Yeah, of course I know who Goliath is. Dog, fucking the brother to Goliath. No, I'm kidding. Goliath, isn't he like the pet to Kang?
No,
like a pet?
Well, in the show, they use him as a pet, like, oh, he's guarding wherever the hell Kang is actually hiding. But in the comics, Goliath is actually he's a rival to Kang, and he is unbound by time, and he has this sort of like massive empire, like temporal empire, similar to what Kong has in the comics, but the Alliance is a lot bigger than Kong's. Like Kong only reaches, like Kong's timeline only reaches, and it starts from like I think it was, I read up 2000 BC, and Elias just keeps going. Oh, I smacked my mic. Jesus Christ, I am so sorry. That's what Elias does to anything it reaches, by the way. It does devour everything. It destroys whatever's in its path. And it was very interesting that we got to see that here, but they used it very differently. They used them as sort of like a guard dog to wherever Kong is. Now, we don't know if Elias will probably show its true colors in the rest of the MCU, but from what we know so far from the MCU, they're probably not going to do that. But it was interesting to see it nonetheless. After this, Loki and his other Lokis and all the variants, they start fighting each other like classic Lokis. But, who pulls through? We have Kid Loki, Alligator Loki, our normal Loki, and I'm going to call him Old Man Loki because it's easier to recognize by that name. I'm not going to go old classic Loki. Old Man Loki, period. They go on this hunt and they're like trying to hatch a plan to like save, like go back in time and save whatever's happening. Sylvie prunes herself. She lands there as well, and she learns that Elias is literally guarding something else. So that was again, Sylvie, bro. If Sylvie wasn't in this show, shit show, bro. Nothing would get done. Nothing. Pretty much.
Sophia Di Martin is
she's
so gorgeous. Oh my god, I love her so much.
She's amazing. All right. Other Easter egg, it was very interesting. The Stark Tower in the background.
It doesn't say Avengers or Stark.
It doesn't say Stark. No. It says I have it in my notes. Give me a second. It says Kang, like Qeng, Kang, as in Kang Enterprises, whom in the comic is the person that Tony Stark sells the building to, and this person from the CEO of Kang Enterprises ends up being an alter ego of Kang the Conqueror, who was stuck in that timeline at that time, which is again another hint to Kang the Conqueror to let us know that is the big baddie, like right currently, and what's going to happen. And we know he's going to be appearing in Ant-Man and Quantumania, and I've already done my theories on how I think that's going to play out. So yes, fun little tidbits we get here. We got Mjolnir. We got to see Mjolnir. We got to see Thorg, which fucking. Did I said Thor. My bad. Throg. I said Thor. You know what I mean? I just literally, we saw Thor. No, we saw Throg. Thank you. Little funny thing. The container, the jar he's in says it's labeled T365, which is the comic book Avengers. I think it was Thor comic number 365, which is Throg's comic debut. So that was pretty interesting. That was really fun. He was really funny. As soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, that's nice. He sounded a lot like the cartoon. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was like, you just saw him, hear him struggling, and it was really adorable. But
no, it's cute because like Mjolnir is like above him.
Yeah, and he's just trying to reach it.
That was really adorable.
That was like, really, that's cute. Really, really funny too. Out of the head of like just fun tidbits we saw. We got Yellow Jacket's head. Very interesting. I don't know how it ended up there, but I mean, we have theorized that we are in the quantum realm. So, you know how Yellow Jacket was shrunk down into like little atom, and he kept going and going and going and going. He might have just ended up at the end of time into the void. And since his suit, he grows and he shrinks, got fucked up, and he ended up as a giant helmet that we see in the ground. It's very fun. We got to see the Thanos copter. Didn't think they would pull it off. I saw it in the screen. I had to pause it to laugh. Do you imagine imagine a variant of Thanos being like, haha, my mode of transportation, the Thanos copter.
Helicopter.
The TVA just comes like, hey buddy, just gonna prune this and you. Thank you very much. We don't need dumb ideas in this universe.
I had to pause it and I had to find the cartoon image from the comics. I'm just like, oh, this is a 1-to-1 replica of a live action.
It's literally a helicopter toy version. Like, it looks like a toy helicopter, and he just slapped Thanos on the side. Yeah, that's pimpin'. We also got to see, like I had mentioned, Mjolnir. There's Ronan's ship. There's a helicarrier. Those are really fun. And now something very, very interesting. We get to see the Living Tribunal's head. Louis, give me a head. Like, what is the Living Tribunal? What do you got?
Oh man, you threw this pop quiz at me and I didn't study.
I'm just trying to get the viewers interacting. It's all good.
I do know what the Living Tribunal was, if I fucking remember. Isn't it like the fucking guardian of everything and like
you got it. He's the protector. He's the protector. He's the protector of the multiverse. He makes sure it's in a perfect balance. If anything or anyone tries to like ruin, or actually, if anyone goes to like has superb power to the point where it can affect the multiverse, the Living Tribunal will step up and go, "Fuck you." Just. So it's interesting how the Living Tribunal's head is there, and I have heard this theory before. You know how like the TVA time variants we see in the statues and in the background, they're like three heads, but they seem like they're in the same position as the Living Tribunal.
Yeah.
Maybe what I thought as soon as I saw that was that maybe the Living Tribunal used to be in the TVA, used to control it in like the right way, and then Conqueror came, got rid of all the evidence of actual like this omnipotent like creature being as a service Living Tribunal, removing all statues, everything, and then rebuilding the TVA in his image in the way that he thinks it should be. Which would explain why there's a Living Tribunal like statue head in there.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say it's. I could have sworn. I feel like in a movie we had seen the Living Tribunal statue like in the background. I remember like pointing it out to someone, being like, "Oh, yo, that's the Living Tribunal." I feel like it was in a Guardians film, maybe Guardians 2. I can't remember. My fucking memory is so scuffed right now.
I don't remember that either. And last but not least, at the end of the episode, we get Kang the Conqueror's Citadel. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I saw it, I got excited. I was like, oh, that could be Doctor Doom's castle. And I'm not gonna lie, I know it's Doctor Doom, but you cannot tell me to not look like Doctor Doom's castle.
I don't get why people think it's Doctor Doom. I'm like, where does he fit into all this?
I know he doesn't.
Why would they
look? But look at me and tell me that as soon as you saw that castle, you did not think like that looks like Doctor Doom's castle.
I kind of knew it was Kang's castle. I'm just like, why would it just take them to Latveria of all fucking places?
I know. It just looks very like Doctor Doomish, but I know it's Kang the Conqueror. I mean, you know my theory on like Doctor Doom. I think Doctor Doom is like controlling all these people like puppets. Like Kang is probably like a minion to Doctor Doom. So that's like my theory, and I'm gonna ride that train to the end of my life, unless it gets disproven. So I'll just stop talking about it. Like what happened with Mephisto, which is seen ironically in like T-minus. I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all the Easter eggs. Now, like story-wise, though, this episode overall, I really enjoyed it. Not only there was really good action, there was really good storytelling. Like they took this time and paced them out, and the action was really good in this one. It was really good. Like that fight scene between Loki's and the Alliance was amazing.
Something I expected, and I knew it would happen like in the first act of the episode. Loki being surrounded by nothing by himself, it would get to a point where he's just like, hey, I can't stand myself. So when they're all in like that bowling alley area and they're all just talking about, oh, like, what got you pruned and whatnot, like, why are you here? And Loki's just like, yo, let's just all join forces and like take on Alliance. And they all laugh at him. And he just leaves it like, yo, y'all are idiots. Only to find outside more Lokis, he's just like, this sucks.
Yeah, he's like, God damn it, more me.
He's just like, I hate me.
For the record, Kid Loki killed Thor. That was his.
Yeah.
That was his nexus event. He killed Thor. I was like, whoa.
I like something that gets touched on by Richard Grant's Loki, or Old Man Loki, classic Loki. He mentions how
he survived
his timeline, and it's very similar to how our Loki died.
Yeah,
but he did something different now, and now everyone's questioning like, oh, maybe
is
our
that Loki? maybe our Loki, yes, could have survived. You know, it is very, very interesting. Like imagine if they were like, okay, movies is like after everything happens, they fix the TVA or whatnot, or they destroy whatever they're gonna do. They send Loki back to like Avengers, and that is why Loki has to play out the events exactly the same. But by the end of Endgame, that's why he tells Thor, like, don't worry, brother, the sun will shine on us again, and that's just like a hologram.
It can't be a hologram because there's literally that scene in Ragnarok where like Thor throws something like, yo, if you were really here, I'd hug you. And like he throws something and like he grabs it like,
yeah, but remember that classic Loki is able to conjure very realistic, like, I mean, I forgot, like, I'm going to call them duplicates. Like he has very realistic duplicates to the point where they're fighting. Remember in the scene, in the bowling alley fight scene, how he creates these characters and the people are physically fighting with them? Like they're not going through them. No, they're actually physically fighting. So Loki could learn from that because, God, that end fight scene was so good. When Old Man Loki conjures the entirety of Asgard to distract Goliath. Got literal goosebumps. That was so beautiful. I keep smacking my mic.
I think it's oddly wholesome that like even at the end Loki conjures up Asgard, the one place he considers home, which like, you know, like disrespected him way too many times.
Yeah, I honestly love how he conjured it, and at the end when he was about to die, he's like, glorious purpose. Like he found it. Like that was it.
I'm bummed he died. That was my favorite Loki.
Yeah, he was really nice.
They hired Richard E. Grant and they were like, yo, you're gonna look like a clown, but you're gonna make that bag. And he delivered. Like they were like, yo, we're not gonna have you for like 5 minutes. You're gonna be a big deal.
Yeah. Don't worry. You're not just some like Easter egg like you're not gonna be an end credit scene. Just trust me. You'll have some lines. Very important ones and a really important moment. Like so good. And then Loki realizes maybe we're stronger than we think. And Sylvie like tells him, look, you will be able to enchant Goliath because you can. You can believe it. We're Lokis. We're powerful. And they work together and they pull it off. It was really nice. I don't know. Overall, it was a really good episode. Theories right now are just non-existent. And we're pretty much just like theorizing how all of these things, how all the Easter eggs we mentioned ended up in the actual void. And now the possibility that Loki might be alive in our actual timeline. Because again...
No, yeah. Like I don't have any theories for the next episode. I just know you mentioned it. And I'm just here like, how is this going to end? Where does Loki go now? Like, you know, like, does he go back to 2012 events or like...
The thing is that, at least according to Wikipedia, there is another season. There's 2 seasons, not just 1.
Oh, right.
Which is why, like, I'm like, what's going to happen? You know, like, what's going on?
And, maybe Loki, funny enough, creates the TVA.
That would be pretty cool.
Looking for the creators, it's him all along.
Could be. Imagine us hinting Kang the Conqueror this entire time. Like, they're giving it to us with these, like, little Easter eggs and little stuff, and then they're like, it was a Loki all along. Like, no, come on, man.
Maybe a Loki is Kang. Who knows? I'm just spitballing right now.
That would be crazy. That would be very confusing. No, it's not, because they already well, I mean, yeah, they already casted Kang the Conqueror. Forgot the actor's name, but it's not Loki.
Oh, right. No, yeah, well, I mean,
it could be a variant. I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna go like out of my limb. Kang the Conqueror. Period. That's what's gonna happen. So, yeah, pretty much that's it. Not a lot of like. It's just I'm excited for next episode. To be honest, I can't wait. We're gonna be covering that as well. You're gonna be get excited because the end of Loki, like that finale, is gonna bring a lot of content, especially for you guys. We're gonna have an after show, real quick, like just basically reaction type video, more than just an actual review. You're gonna get an actual like podcast episode review, and I'm going to be guest starring in Star Wars podcast as well, reviewing the episode. So stay tuned for all of that. Anyways, this is pretty much what we do here. Talk about theories, talk about movies, review them, TV shows, whatever you like, we do here. So make sure you leave a like if you like this episode. If you want to see more of this, make sure you subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell notification so you know when we release new videos. And if you like this, well, thank you. And we'll see you in the next one.